With Halloween Horror Nights only 12 days away from today, I thought I'd drop by Universal Studios today to come and check out the latest updates inside the scare zones, as well as check out some of the food booth updates that have been going on. So come with me today as we go inside the park to check it all out. So I'm going to start by going through all of the scare zones first, and then I'm going to make my way through to the food booths. So here I'm starting in New York section. I'm going to start at Sweet Revenge. Now this is going to be a scare zone where we're going to have children I'm assuming they're going to probably be almost like zombie-like children after eating Major Sweet's candy that have just turned rampant and are taking over the township here that's having a Halloween party. So I cannot wait to go and see it. I'm going to walk you through it right now so we can check it all out. So this has been here for a while, but it's one of my favorite pieces here in the New York scare zone is this Major Sweet's candy van. It's a very awesome prop here in the streets. And then right here we have the judge's booth, which I can only assume that perhaps we're gonna have Major Sweets himself standing on top, and hopefully he's like a mascot kind of style character. I also feel like we could have put a little Boo right here. That would have been pretty cool to incorporate a little Boo in this scare zone as well. So it'd be in the very first scare zone and then this one here. But unfortunately they haven't done that, so we can only have wished. And then there's this candy booth here, and as you can see right there, there is candy lollipops on the sides of it. And then over there, behind the top there, you can see the candy jar. That's similar to what was inside the jars that were on the shelving unit that's right over here. And then right here, it looks like we have a tractor that's hit a candy booth, and I can assume that it was probably a zombie child or something underneath that top there that drove this into the candy booth. And as you can see right behind me there's the tribute store, and as you can see, it's getting prepared for Halloween Horror Nights. They've got it going in the orange and black and white color scheme. And honestly, I cannot wait to see what the interior is going to look like, because they always do a fantastic job and a superb job at decking out the inside of the tribute stores. So this year I cannot wait to see what it's going to be like inside. As you can see here, we have the Dead Coconut Club, and I cannot wait to go and see this because I believe this is alluding to the fact that they're going to deck out the red coconut and City Walk with a Horror Nights theme. So it's going to be awesome if they do that. So I cannot wait to go and see that if they indeed do that. And as you can see over here, we have this cornfield that's set up in front of Finnegan's. And as you can see, there's corn there, so you can guess what's gonna happen now. I'm over in the front section of the park in the Hollywood section, and as you can see right behind me, there's Nettlewood Cemetery. Now this is the set for Graveyard Deadly Unrest, and this is supposed to be a scare zone that's gonna have spirits, as well as maybe perhaps hopefully Death himself. So come with me now as I walk you through the scare zone right now. And there's this giant gate over here, and this giant gate's like a welcoming gate, and hopefully it's going to be the gate where we have Death himself standing, welcoming all his victims into the graveyard scare zone. And then we have these above ground mausoleum set pieces over here, and then another kind of looking one over here. Then we have the grass shrubbery, the fence. And then over here directly in front of me is a little stage area where there's a door there, so someone's gonna pop out through the door and probably be standing there. It's worn down fence here. Some more shrubbery set pieces. Some more mausoleum set pieces as well as some boo holes. So it's definitely coming along here, and I cannot wait to walk through here during the very first night of opening night, HHN 31. And then we have this guy here. He's definitely one of my favorite set pieces here. This gargoyle is standing here overlooking everyone walking down the Hollywood Strip. Another fence here that says Nettlewood Cemetery. Some more set pieces over here. And then we're finally out of the scare zone. So we just left the Hollywood scare zone, and now we're making our way over towards the Central Park scare zone. Now this scare zone is called Scarecrow Cursed Soil, and I believe it's a nod to the house that we had a couple of years ago, as well as the house in Hollywood, which is called Scarecrow the Reaping. Now as we first walk in there, we're going to see some scaffolding, which is supposed to look like the entrance to a barn, and I believe there's going to be more additions to this close towards the Halloween Horror Nights to make it look more like a barn. And then as we make our way through, we're going to see not really too many set pieces. It's going to be more to some speakers and stuff that are set up, so we can expect some more construction later on, probably this week and next week as we get closer to Halloween Horror Nights. And then as we make our way to the end of it, we're going to see the food booth at the end, which is a Scarecrow food booth, which I think is also paying homage to the scare zone over here. So it's going to be interesting. I'm going to take you through a walk right now. So I'm into the next scare zone. I'm over in San Francisco and I'm actually at the Conjure the Dark scare zone. Now this scare zone area here has had a lot of work done in the past couple of days. There are a lot more little things that have popped up. There are a lot of shrubbery. There's a couple of props that are next to the shrubbery as you walk through. I'm gonna take you through a quick walkthrough right now and you can see it all. So let's go through. And then this is the entrance here to the scare zone that we're gonna go through. So we have the planter over here, we have some barrels and then some more props here for the set pieces. So this here is the main set piece for Conjure the Dark, and this is where we're going to have the evil sorceress standing there conjuring her evil minions. Perhaps they'll come through the door or she'll come through the door. As you can see, there's a tarp over there covering something, so I suspect that's probably going to be some sort of gruesome set piece that we're trying to hide from the public here that's coming through the park. But yeah, this is going to be the main stage where we're going to see the evil sorceress. Here's a planter over here, then there's some set pieces, some cages and stuff. Then there's another planter right over here, some barrels over here, and then we have a lighting stand over here that's going to be facing directly over towards the stage over there. And right at the front of the park we have the Horrors of Halloween scare zone. Now this is going to be the first scare zone that you walk through on the night when you enter the park, unless you're doing Stay and Scream. But yeah, this will be the very first scare zone you walk through, and it's going to be decked out with pumpkin scare actors, stilt walkers, and actually up there, inside the pumpkins up there, there's actually Little Boo as well. So yeah, this is an awesome scare zone. There's been a little bit of work. I expect there's probably going to be a lot more work during the next 2 weeks on this scare zone, but this is where it's at right now. So I'm over in front of Gramercy Park, and as you can see behind me, there are 2 food booths already set up. Now these food booths, last year that was Texas Chainsaw that was set up over here. This year I believe they're going to be tying in with the Horrors of Halloween, which is the very first scare zone at the front of the park. Now as you can see behind me, there's a poltergeist looking one as well as a trick-or-treat one. I'm going to zoom in so you can have a close-up look at them. But yeah, these are the 2 ones that are over in front of the bar that is in front of where Monsters Cafe used to be. And this is the bar that is in front of where Monsters Cafe used to be. This is generally a pretty good bar because it's very close to the food and also doesn't get as busy as the bars that are closer to some of the lines for the houses. So down the side alley between Gramercy and Finnegan's, there are 3 food booths. And the very first one that I'm looking at is a biohazard zombie mutant kind of looking one. And then next to that is also a vampire looking one. A little bit further down the street, there is a skeleton looking one. So I'm down inside the alley, and inside this alley is a butcher themed refrigerated section. And it's very interesting because there's both a food booth as well as a drink stand in here. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of concoctions they have down here. It also looks like there's a pastry section that sits on top of the counter as well. So there's probably going to be some sort of treat snack or something that doesn't need to have to be refrigerated or cooked. Then also the drink stand's kind of interesting because it's a frozen margarita machine. So there's definitely going to be some sort of frozen drink down here. But yeah, it's very interesting coming through here and seeing the butchery themed section. So I'm over in the section on the bridge between the Simpsons and the London section of the park. And as you can see behind me, there's a large pumpkin, and this is the food booth at the back of the park. Now it's going to be interesting to see what they actually have at this food booth, considering it's right at the back of the park and looks like a pumpkin. The only guess I have is that perhaps there may be some vegetarian or vegan themed foods there. There will also obviously be other foods as well, but I'm thinking that that's what the main focus is going to be back here. And as you can see, it's an extremely large pumpkin. So I'm heading over towards the food booths over in the kids zone to go and check those out. Now there are 3 food booths over there. There's one over by the Simpsons area, which is a trucking looking one. Then we have the one that's over in front of the kids zone section, which is a gothic rundown castle kind of looking one. And then we also have the Scarecrow one that's at the end of the Scarecrow scare zone. This food booth is an interesting food booth because it looks like the Good Guys box that Chucky comes in. So it's going to be interesting to see if they're going to have like Chucky themed food here, or if it's just going to be generic food here that's kind of not really themed at all. But it's definitely an interesting looking facade here for a food booth, and I cannot wait to see what food they actually have in here. And then we had this other tent in the kids zone section, which looks like a rundown gothic kind of looking castle. And it's going to be interesting to see what they actually have here. It looks like there's some like demonic pentagram symbols at the top and some stained glass windows, so I'm not 100% sure what it's kind of supposed to be themed to, but it's definitely interesting nonetheless. So this here is the Scarecrow themed food booth, and it looks awesome from the outside. It kind of fits the theme of the scare zone as you walk through, and at the back end of it you just pop out to this and then you can go and get your treats. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting looking food booth, and it's shaped like a barn, so it kind of definitely fits in with the scare zone that we just walked through earlier on. I'm over by Cafe La Bamba, and it looks like they've like themed this area over here like Day of the Dead. So it's like a Mexican themed looking food booth area, and it's also awesome that they themed the water feature as well. So check it all out. Thank you for coming on an adventure with me. I've taken you through the park and shown you all the scare zones, as well as the food booths. I'm gonna look at coming here next week so I can take you through the park again and show you all the bars, as well as the food booths in the evening, lit up in their glory. Thank you for coming with me on this adventure.